Hello, everybody. Hello. All right. Well, welcome to your notes for section 3.6. You will need some tools. Yes, we're going to need a compass and we're going to be drawing. So here we go. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you what websites we're going to use and what your page in your notebook will actually look like. So here we go. All right. So let's head over to our notebook. If I can find it. There it is. Let's go to geometry notes and let's make some graph paper. Up here before you, here we go. Let's go ahead and label this notes 3.6. 3.6. And today we are doing constructions. And exactly which constructions? Well, we have both parallel lines as well as perpendicular lines. So the first thing we need to know is that we can go to this website, mathopenref.com, and we can look at the animations. What will we be looking for? We're looking for the section labeled constructions. I guess this should really be an arrow. We're looking for this section labeled constructions, and then we're going to be looking for the table of contents. And we are going to be looking at parallel lines, as well as perpendicular lines. All right, let's go ahead and get started on that. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing here and I'm going to pinpoint this or spotlight my notebook here. So here's where we are going to start. I want to go ahead and make parallel lines. So let's label that on the top here. Parallel lines. How do we do this? Well, actually, I'm going to switch from a marker to a pen. I think that would be a lot easier to read. I'm going to grab a ruler, and I'm going to start off by making one line. There we go. Start by making one line. It doesn't matter how long it is. And go ahead and put a point up here somewhere. It doesn't matter where, anywhere up there. So I want to make a line parallel through this point using my compass and using a straight edge. So here's the process. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this point to that line. And I'm just going to make some random angle. Just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to center it right here. Right there. And I'm going to make an arc that crosses both of these lines. Watch this. I'm going to close this in a little bit. Oops. Here we go. Don't stab yourself. Watch how I put the needle right there. I'm going to push it down. Make sure that it's really there and make your arc. Make your arc. All right. So notice that arc went across both of these lines. Now I'm going to repeat that same arc up here. I'm going to put this needle at this point right there. And I'm going to make a similar arc. So I'm going to push my needle down and I'm going to make an arc similar to the one above. There we go. So now I have two congruent arcs. Now I'm going to take my compass, grab it this way, and I'm going to measure my arc. So I'm going to measure this piece, not quite, I need to go a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit smaller. There we go. Look at that. You can see that with my compass, I am measuring this distance here. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the distance that I'm measuring. I'm measuring this distance right here in green. Okay, that little piece right there in green is what I am measuring with my compass. I'm going to go ahead and translate that right up here. So here we go. So with my needle, I'm going to pinpoint that needle at that intersection. And I'm going to draw an arc. Oop, I moved the needle. There we go. And now I made a little arc right there. What am I going to do with that? This is what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to take that point right there and connect it to that original point. And guess what? This line right here is going to be parallel to this line down here. All right, so there's the process for that. Now let's take a look at the process for perpendicular lines. All right, so that was parallel lines. Let's take a look at perpendicular lines next. But what does that look like, the parallel lines? Well, let's take a look at an animation and see what. All right, here we are at Math Open Ref. Let's go ahead and scroll down to the section under constructions labeled Table of Contents. Click on that. Let's take a look at lines. Where's parallel lines? Here we go. Parallel line to a line through a point, parallel line through a point. Let's do parallel line through a point. Let's click the run button. There it is. A point outside the line, connected them both with a ray, made a random arc. Then with the same measurement on the compass, made another random arc from the top. I measured the actual arc measurement on both of those arcs that I made, and the intersection point gives me my parallel line. Okay, all right, let's take a look at perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines start off with a line. I'm going to give myself a little bit of space above and below, so I'm not going to draw my line too close to the words perpendicular lines. I'm going to go ahead and scoot down here, and I'm going to go ahead and make my line. I'm going to put a couple of arrowheads on each end, and I'm going to, I don't know, labeled one side A, and then over here on the other side I'm going to label it B. Alright, here's what I want to do. I want to estimate where the midpoint is at. I know that the midpoint is going to be somewhere over here. I know for a fact that the midpoint is not here. I know for a fact that the midpoint is not over here, right? So I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to go ahead and take the needle, right? And I'm going to put the needle at one end. And then I'm going to open the compass so that I am ensuring that the compass is open more than the halfway mark. Okay? Once you do that, go ahead and pin your needle on one end. Lift it up, and you're going to make a little arc above. Just like that. Let me get my cursor out of the way. And then one below. There it is. Now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to switch over to this side, to the other end point. Go ahead and pin it down and repeat the process. I'm going to make an arc above and below. So So now I have these two x's, or two arcs, two sets of arcs. Go ahead and mark the point of intersection of those two arcs. Go ahead and connect them, and guess what? That is a 90-degree angle. And this is also congruent to that because this is acting as that midpoint. So there's your, not just the perpendicular lines, but this is your perpendicular bisector. Let's take a look at an animation that helps us see this in slow motion. So let's go ahead, let's move back. And let's take a look at, here we go, perpendicular bisector of a line segment. Let's take a look at that. There it is. Open the compass past the halfway mark. Make an arc above, below. Switch the needle to the other side. Repeat the process by making an arc on the top and the bottom. Then you connect the top and the bottom arcs intersecting, and that's your perpendicular bisector. All right. Here we go. And then you cancel this. And all right. Hopefully that made sense. Bye, everybody.